managed to not get married, you're winning.
Let's talk about why smart, successful, accomplished women are struggling the most in dating right now.
Have you noticed that most men are fed up with women nowadays?
Men are not the problem.
What happens when a growing number of men stop making dating, hookups, and female validation the center of their lives? Why are more men in 2026 choosing peace, purpose, and personal goals over constantly chasing attention? And why does this shift seem to be confusing so many people? Stay with us until the end of this video, because this may be one of the most unexpected changes happening in modern dating culture.
Men over 50 are almost twice as likely as women to marry out of the West. So these guys are they're exhausted their options in the West or in their town or in their city or even in their country, and they're expanding their dating map. So what's actually even more interesting is that guys are actually they're starting younger doing this too. So like guys who are in their 20s and 30s are like, I'm not even going to start dating in my community. I'm going to look abroad first, which is kind of insane to me. Like, you got to test the waters first before you even go out there.
For years, society assumed men would always prioritize romance, dating, and female attention above everything else. But in 2026, a growing number of men are rewriting that script completely.
Have you ever thought about the fact that we're going to have to create systems and things that we have never seen before? If so many of us as women are planning on not having children and growing old with our friends and living in this sort of communal way that's very much not what I grew up with the whole and you were born from parents and then you have kids and then their kids have kids and then eventually you're the grandpa and you're sitting there with your family and there's young people built in. We're going to have to build ways of living and ways of existing and ways of connecting with younger generations and older generations that we have not seen before because we've been in such a repressive patriarchy and we have been forced to live in nuclear families, or at least nuclear families with maybe an extra generation somewhere. But in order to create what so many of us are talking about right now, we are going to have to build systems that were not passed down to us. And I find that extremely fascinating and also super intimidating. So if anyone is already talking about how we're going to do this tangibly, please point me in their direction because I want to know more.
What makes this trend different is that these men aren't necessarily angry at women. They are simply redirecting their focus. Instead of chasing attention, they are chasing financial goals, fitness milestones, business opportunities, and personal freedom.
At this point in your life, whatever age you are as a man, if you managed to not get married, you're winning. Marriage is a scam. And I believe marriage is for weak and poor people, basically. Because if you're strong and if you can think logically, marriage is not a good deal. And sometimes we make mistakes and we get married anyways because we don't know better. But as long as you don't remarry and you learn your lesson, you're good. So don't make a mistake and get married. It's not worth it.
Many men have realized that constantly seeking validation can become exhausting. The endless pursuit of approval, matches, texts, and dates started feeling more like a distraction than a source of happiness.
I don't understand how it's 2026 and men are still acting like they don't need to put any effort into their appearance to attract a woman. I'm so sorry, but you guys are not the sole breadwinners anymore. Women these days are making their own money and we're still looking good while doing it. So when I'm looking for a guy to date, whether or not he takes proper care of himself is definitely something I consider, because why should I be working a full-time job and putting effort into how I present myself and then date a man who looks like a slob? So please, practice good personal hygiene, wear clothes that actually fit you, put effort into styling your hair. And if you don't know where to start with any of that stuff, I recommend Based Body Works because they have literally everything you need. So if you want it to be easy, just go on Based and scroll through what they have, and I promise you will find what you need. And if you don't care, that's fine. Just don't be surprised when you can't get a girl.
A woman who doesn't know how to cook, that's an awful woman, but that's just an average man. A woman who doesn't know when her kid's birthday is or how to spell their middle name, that's an awful woman, but that's just an average man. A woman who has never planned her kid's birthday party or bought a Christmas present for her kid and wrapped it, that's an awful woman, but that's just an average man. The takeaways are, men don't hate double standards, they love them and they create them. And B, you might be an average mom, but you're an amazing father.
Men and women are different. Notice how, like, she has all these things that men should be doing, cooking, like wrapping the Christmas gifts. Like, she has a lot of things in here that I would deem feminized role. Like, these are things that would naturally be instinctive for women to do, right? Planning a birthday party for your 6-year-old. I mean, it just is, right? Men and women gravitate toward different things naturally on purpose. Like, it's a biological instinct. So, honey, like, what are you doing that you need your man to be doing this, right?
As a result, more men are learning how to enjoy their own company. They're spending weekends with friends, traveling, working on projects, or building routines that give them a sense of purpose.
Here's an easy 3-hit combo with a leather set. I'm going to create space, attack the collarbone with the thin side, attack the throat again for more space, come across the top of the head, and power assist across the face. Yes, he's probably done with the collarbone shot, but let's learn to put things together. Here is this technique in full speed.
So I'm getting ready to go to a golf course. I'm taking lessons to play golf. Very fortunate. But yeah, so this guy, like, basically just came on my page and was like just really gross and nasty, and I was like, oh, we got another slow one. What a shocker. And so he has a whole page, and he all he talks about is how women get on this app, and he makes fun of their cars, and he'll like do like low blow disses or something, like he's got that much going on. It's all these guys just like circle jerking each other and like jerking each other off, and like they're the only people who are interacting with it. And these men honestly don't know how dumb they sound. And he said in 2026, men are starting to go low to no effort. That's why we're running like at the troves, like, at lightning speed for our lives in 2026. We do not want to be with you. If this keeps you away from me, it's staying in. You know what I mean? Because this is what we're working with. I honestly like thought it was satire at one point. This is how mentally impaired the male species seem to be. And it's really sad, actually. Like, y'all are this obtuse. And like, you hate us this much. And you're also obsessed with us this much. You dedicate an entire page to just go through women's TikToks who have, God forbid, something to say. You know what I mean? And you pick it apart. And all these men in the bottom, they just circle jerk each other. You guys all like down low on the DL. Okay, so you also just date each other. Women are actually forming communities. We're fine without you. We actually don't want to be with you anymore. The bar, you have set the bar so low, the bar is in hell. And we're not interested in it anymore. We don't even care. We have interests, we have hobbies, we have friendships, we have relationships, we have kids. You know, we have things going on for ourselves. So yeah, keep being low effort, men. Just keep the consistency going. It's nothing new in 2026. It is new that women are leaving by the troves in 2026, but the low effort, the bar is so low it's in hell. If it can get any lower, it'd probably reach the Earth's crust. So I'm glad that we can just separate from each other. I think men and women need a break from each other at this point in time, because we're running circles around you and you don't even realize it. And you think you sound intelligent, but you all look gay. You look really gay. And it's 2026. You can come out now. It's safe. It's a safe space. And we won't judge you for it. Okay.
Social media has amplified this change. Men now see countless examples of other men finding fulfillment outside traditional dating expectations. That has encouraged many to ask whether relationships should remain their top priority.
Men don't want to get laid, because I made a video saying that women need to sleep around more, parenthesis, because you need to discover that this D ain't that special. Anyway, but like, if you sleep around more men get laid, right? And there are still men in the comment section going, don't listen to her, girls. Don't listen to her. And it's like, sir, are you trying to keep your homeboys to yourself, or what's going on?
If a man is more worried about hurting another woman's feelings than he is about protecting your emotional safety and your peace of mind, then he has already told you everything you need to know about exactly where you rank in his actual priorities. When someone genuinely and fully chooses you, your peace becomes their instinctive priority without you ever having to ask for it or explain why it matters. He does not need reminders to be clear about where he stands, because wanting clarity for you is part of how he experiences wanting you. He does not leave you in positions where you find yourself wondering about women he describes as just friends. The absolute bare minimum of a real committed relationship is that the person you are with is not actively protecting someone else's access to them at your direct expense. If he is doing that, he has not chosen you. He is keeping you available while keeping his options open.
What catches many women off guard is that these men no longer seem desperate for attention. They're not constantly seeking approval, and they're far more selective about who gets access to their time and energy.
Let's talk about why smart, successful, accomplished women are struggling the most in dating right now. Because as a professional matchmaker who literally sets men up for a living, I see and hear what they say and do, and I know a lot of you are frustrated, so I'm going to give you a little bit of visibility as to what's going on. Okay, so men a lot of times will come to me, they'll say, Nelly, I want an educated, wholesome, good girl of substance who's not for the streets. And then you will see a lot of the women that they pick and they're hoes. And you might be like, well, why are they going for the opposite? It's because we are living, ladies, in peak hoe culture. These men open Instagram, they open dating apps, they open dating sites, and they're everywhere. Bearing it all, wearing next to nothing, hyper seductive, hyper feminine, hypersexual. And yeah, they don't have a career, they don't have an education, they probably don't come from money, because if they did, they wouldn't be doing that because it's not classy. It's not actually what classy people do. But that is their ticket, or at least they're hoping it will be, into a higher tax bracket. And what's also happening is men are being told now, there's a lot of cynicism online, not to trust women. They're being told that all women are gold diggers and all women, have high body counts. And so they're going for the path of least resistance because the hoes don't require more. They don't have as high standards as you do. They don't hold these men accountable. They'll put out earlier. They'll put up with more. And so guys will go into these dynamics. They'll think that it's a phase. And then, they find themselves on this hamster wheel for a long time. And it's harder to get off it because you're so accustomed to that. And then they become bitter. And that's why they subscribe to these red pill dudes, because they're like, well, all women are gold diggers. Yeah, because you've been dealing with hoes. And that's also why a lot of men are not committing and marrying for, some forever, and also not until way later in life. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys are like, I did everything right, I don't get it. Yes, you did do everything right, sister. And unfortunately, you're living in a society that doesn't reward that, because the likes and the clicks and the comments are going to the hoes. Follow if you guys want a part 2 and for more dating tips.
The biggest shift may be psychological. Once a man realizes he can be happy without constant validation, he becomes much harder to influence through attention alone.
Hell, are y'all still fucking with men? I'm just curious. I mean, every other story on TikTok is about some woman and a goddamn man, and I'm just like, do we not have pattern recognition? They're devils. They're energy vampires. They're losers.
She sounds miserable as hell. Now imagine hating on people to the point where you forget to love yourself. Because she's sitting there heavy as hell, being super mad at people for being happy. She forgets that she needs to get on a treadmill. You're worried about the wrong things. People can choose to be happy. Not every woman out there wants to be single and miserable with y'all. They don't have to choose what you want them to choose. So how about we just let happy women be happy, and you and the women like you can be single and miserable.
Many bachelors are now investing in health, finances, hobbies, and long-term goals. The more progress they make, the less interested they become in chasing experiences that don't improve their lives.
Have you noticed that most men are fed up with women nowadays? And what I mean by that is...
Let's hear him out. I'm sure his analysis on why most men don't want to be with women will be both introspective and insightful.
My friends that are players, that are with a girl every day, stopped being with women. They literally stopped. They said enough. And I think the reason they did that...
Hang on a second. You said most men, and then you We're talking about your friends. Which one are we talking about here? Because it can't be both. You can't be friends with all of the men on the planet. But let's hear him out. I'm sure we'll still get an insightful reason.
It's because there's this crazy thing happening now where women are going nuts about being an Instagram model and getting external validation. And
wait a second. So your friends are not going to be with women because some women are posting on Instagram? Is that it? You're friends with a bunch of insecure dudes. Got it. Okay.
Men subconsciously hit a threshold where they're like, no more. And to protest, they're not with women. As a matter of fact, statistically, it's pretty bad. 25% of men up until the age of 30 not only aren't virgins, have never even asked a girl out in their life. They just stay at home with their mom in their fucking basement playing video games. That's a problem. And I think that, you know, if you look at society as a whole, where it's going, it's not going in a good direction. But I do think that men protesting the ridiculous behavior from a female side is a new trend. And it might
So let's go over your argument here, because it's a little incoherent. Your friends and 20 to 30% of men are not dating women anymore. And your diagnosis is because women be posting on Instagram. I'm sorry to say you don't speak for most men or all men, and this does not constitute a society-wide problem. The problem is that you're insecure, personally. You don't like that women are posting on Instagram and getting male validation that you desperately seek. That's why you're standing here in this video with your shirt off. It's for male validation. Because who else would this video be for? Anyways, I think more men should stay at home and play video games with their mom. That sounds really wholesome. Play Stardew Valley with your mom. Sounds like a good time.
The surprising part is that this isn't some organized movement. Most men aren't announcing it publicly. They're simply changing their priorities and quietly moving in a different direction.
It's 2026 and we still have men who genuinely hate women. Have you forgotten you spent 9 months living rent-free in a uterus? You are an uninvited guest. You are a most invasive, painful and expensive DIY project. Hating women is like building hating the foundation it's currently standing on. You didn't manifest into existence, Jordan. You are a biological miracle that your mother probably regrets every time she sees you. I see the guys on YouTube explaining why women are distractions or too emotional. You're out here drinking raw liver smoothie and sleeping on a block of salt to find your inner warrior, while a woman is navigating a corporate merger, a family crisis, and your fragile ego, all while bleeding and not making a 4-hour documentary about a daily grind. You're not a high-value man, Chad. You're just a guy who cannot find his own socks without a search party. International Women's Day is a joke because it implies they only deserve 24 hours of recognition. It's a performative apology for 364 days of explaining their own expertise back to them. We give them a bouquet of dead flowers and a pink them LinkedIn post to compensate for the fact that they've been carrying the weight of the entire species since the beginning of time. One day is not a celebration, it's a tactical distraction from our own collective incompetence. We have mothers, sisters, daughters, colleagues who are quietly preventing the apocalypse, while we are still trying to figure out if we are emotionally available or just need a nap. You don't need a day of recognition, you need a world that finally admits that you are the architect of existence and we are just the clumsy interns. So thank you for existing, thank you for creating life from scratch, and thank you for not abandoning the human race yet, even though we've given you reason to walk away. Stay brilliant, stay ruthless, and please keep ignoring the manifestation bros. They're just the white nose of a failing ego. Happy International Women's Day, every single day of the year.
Whether people agree with it or not, the dating market feels different when millions of men stop centering their lives around female approval and start centering them around personal growth instead.
Men are not the problem. And I have been seeing this thread for a very long time and I have never spoken to it, mostly because it's not popular. It's really popular for women to hate on men, for women to bitch about the patriarchy, for women to say that it's all men's fault. Men are not the problem. Men are not the problem in domestic violence situations. Men are not the problem in our government. Men are not the problem in the family home. Unhealed trauma is. Dysregulated nervous systems are the problem. We need to stop this toxic ass narrative of men being the problem. Nothing makes me more passionately frustrated than this idea that men are the problem. Men are not the problem. And if they are the problem, then they're certainly the solution. And shifts are happening. We've had, a crazy pendulum swing with the feminism movement. A lot of women have got rights that they never had before. That's great. But this hate on men to swing the pendulum in the opposite direction and then have them oppressed and feeling shitty is not the answer. It's not the answer. And if you're one of these people, if you're one of these women who are bitching about men and saying that men are the problem, that is just your unhealed trauma about men. Go heal your own wounding, because the men that I associate with, the men that I am supporting, they are doing the work and they're rallying together with other men so that they can deepen, they can take their pain, they can heal their pain, they can heal their trauma, they can go have the conversations with their fathers and their mothers that they never got to have. The shift is happening, but they need us. Men need women. They need us to be compassionate for them. They need us to hold their feet to the fire so that they actually do the work that is necessary. We have to stop hating on them. We have to stop hating, period. Unless it's funny and comedic reels, but we have to stop hating, period. Stop hating on men. If you are a woman, please heed this call. It is not okay, and we are doing more damage than we could ever imagine. Stop hating.
So here's the real question. Are men walking away from the chase because they've lost interest in dating? Or because they've discovered that purpose, freedom, and peace can be more rewarding than constant validation?
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.